Hi, today we are going to discuss about various traffic forwarding methods to forward your traffic to Zscaler Cloud, to proxying the traffic, and to process firewalling, sandboxing, and malware protections on the cloud. Let's jump in and see the various traffic forwarding methods. When you take traffic forwarding, there are two major traffic forwarding mechanisms called transparent forwarding and explicit forwarding. Transparent means uh, the end user may not see what is happening on his traffic. The forwarding will happen at the network level. There are two such forwarding mechanisms are GRE and IPsec tunnels. Explicit forwarding means changes will happen on end user machine. End user can look and feel the configurations on end user machines. It may be in the form of pack files or in the agents. So those two mechanisms are available in the Zscaler as well. When you see the GRE or IPsec, GRE is predominantly for the infra where you have around 1 Gbps of bandwidth at the site. In IPsec, if your location have only 2 Mbps of bandwidth, then you can choose IPsec. And GRE is having less overhead in terms of data headers, whereas IPsec you could see the more overheads, and the in terms of failover configurations, GRE is most easy and to configure, and all the most of the CPEs routers will support the GRE configurations. GRE will do only encapsulation, IPsec will do encapsulation and encryption. So the header packets and more complicated when using IPsec. Regarding failover, GRE is having uh, easy methods like keep alive and IPSLA to do the failover. But whereas in IPsec, those configurations bit complicated when compared to the GRE configurations. If your location bandwidth is more than 200 Mbps, then you need to choose another IPsec tunnel towards the Zscaler cloud to accommodate more users traffic. There are other methods to forward the traffic like firewall port forwarding or proxy chaining and explicit proxy settings like configuring the proxy IPs on the pack file and forward the traffic to the Zscaler cloud. So these proxy chaining and firewall forwarding are not recommended for the production infra. It is always recommended to use the testing and POC purposes. Regarding explicit forwarding, we have two options majorly. Zscaler app and pack files. Zscaler app is a lightweight agent where you can install the agent on Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android machines. This can be enforced through using SCCM, JAMF, or Tanium kind of tools. Uh, and the Zscaler agent will connect to the Zscaler cloud based on the geo IP locations closest to the user location. The failure is full failure. So if the node at nearest nearest node fails, then the next nearest node will be chosen automatically, and uh, the failure will be seamless for those users. So none of the traffic left without authentication because since the traffic is encrypted and traffic is sending via the Zscaler app, Zscaler app will ensure all the user traffic is authenticated before it's going towards the Zscaler cloud. The logs are captured, some even logs and transactional logs. Even logs will be captured in the user machine itself, and transactional logs will be captured in the NSS log server on the cloud. Pack files. Pack files is just a JavaScript where you can include these pack files on user browsers, and this is a easy way of migration where you can update few configuration changes like mentioning the VIP IP or proxy IP of the Zscaler cloud, and you can forward the traffic. The GIP based pack files is possible here in Zscaler as well, and the pack files can be pushed through the GPOs When you are using pack files, there is a chance for lose the few capabilities like SSL inspection when they are connecting from the remote location. So there is an option called a dedicated proxy port in Zscaler, which will help the users to enable SSL in a decryption uh, when they are using a dedicated proxy port. So dedicated, when they are using dedicated proxy port, Zscaler will prompt only once to authenticate. If they are using without connecting the using the dedicated proxy port, then they need to prompt it for twice, like to identify who from where the traffic is coming from, and this traffic is part of which company, and the next prompt is for authenticate himself. Uh, when you take Zscaler app, GPU-based MDM or App Store, where you can be used for the deployment, and the deployment cycle is longer because we need to identify the availability of end users machine, and while we are pushing the traffic, pushing the app to those user machines. As of now, ZApp is not covering all the ports and protocols, but yes, there is a concept called Tunnel 2.0 where Zscaler is doing the testing around to forward all the ports and protocol from the user machine when they are installed with you installed the Zscaler private access, sorry, Zscaler apps on their machines. Zscaler also recommend the combinations of traffic forwarding methods like tunneling, pack files, surrogate IP, and Zscaler app when they are inside the corporate. Tunneling, pack files, and surrogate IP options also supported without Zscaler app when they are inside the corporate. Tunneling and app file, pack files also supported. Tunneling here means GRE or IPsec. So tunneling with surrogate IP is also using. Surrogate IP is nothing but when the user is first time authenticated, Zscaler will capture the IP address, private IP address of the user and the username. So when the next time when they receives the traffic with from the same private IP without the user information, Zscaler will automatically map the previous captured username along with the IP address, and the transaction will have the user names, and even if the user is not authenticated for such traffic. Let's say some applications may not support user agents to let's say Google Earth or Google related application will not support to capture the user information in the auth cookies, which will not carry auth cookies. So in that scenario, we can use surrogate IP. Where there are other other scenarios like if SSL encryption is not happening, the traffic Zscaler cannot enforce the cookie information on the pack. So in that case, also Zscaler will consider this as if the user is already authenticated and the surrogate IP option is enabled, Zscaler will consider the traffic is coming from this private IP, and here this traffic is belongs to be this user. That mapping will happen dynamically on the Zscaler cloud. So we have options like using the pack files and using the dedicated proxy port. Dedicated proxy port is nothing but a specific port number will be allocated for the customer. So that port number will identify the traffic is coming from which company. And also we have options like ZApp plus pack files only modes where we can use ZApp, and on top of the ZApp we can use pack files to route the traffic and exceptions handled by the pack file itself. When you take GRE or IPsec tunnels, so always recommended to create GRE or IPsec from the internal routers. The reason behind here is Zscaler is looking for the private IPs of the users to see the granular reporting and creating the sublocations for subnet based specific access to the subnet, providing the the specific access based on the sublocations. Sublocation is nothing but a private IP will be allocated, and it may be the single IP address or subnets, or multiple subnets will be allocated and created as a sublocation. So you can create policies based on the sublocation. So in order to get those benefits, it's always recommended to use mm, internal routers to configure the GRE or IPsec tunnels. So always use the pre-netted traffic when we route the traffic to Zscaler cloud. We have alternate options like configuring the GRE or IPsec from the firewall itself, and whereas we need to ensure that the traffic is pre-netted when routed towards the GRE IPsec tunnels, in order to facilitate get the benefits of sublocation and IP surrogacy. Also, we have the option to configure on the edge routers. Um, in the edge routers, we can configure GRE IPsec and forward the traffic. Here also, if you want to get the benefits of IP sublocation or IP surrogacy, it's always recommended to use pre-netted traffic to send to the tunnel. This is the same concept which we have discussed. Like when you're using IPsec as well, you can have the options like from the internal router or in the firewall or in the edge router. So when you are using Zscaler app, the flow will be something like this. Yeah, administrator will configure the Zscaler app, and he will configure the authentication methods. It will be ADFS or LDAP or some LDAP or hosted DB. So those information will be feed into the mobile admin. Mobile admin will have the app profile and forwarding profile. So based on the app profile and forwarding profile, the end user can enroll the device. The agent will be installed on the end user machines, maybe with the help of GPO or SCCM or Tanium or JAMF tools. Otherwise, he can directly download and from the portal, and we can use it. So once he is enrolled, the user informations and and the device details will be configured and provisioned on the mobile admin portal. And from there, the end user can access internet via the ZIA Zen node, and he can access private resources via the ZPA Zen node. ZPA is nothing but Zscaler private access, wherein it will support the end user to access his internal private uh, resources through the public cloud. When you are using pack files, so Zscaler having the option to host the pack file on the Zscaler cloud itself. There will be a URL. The URL needs to be feed in the browsers. When the user feed in the pack URL on the browsers, Zscaler uses geolocation technology to find the send closest to the user. Once that is identified, Zscaler send the pack file to the browser. It contains the IP address of the primary and secondary Zen nodes. So the next traffic will be towards that primary Zen node, which is available on the pack files. The primary Zen will process the traffic. If the primary is unavailable, then the traffic will be rerouted to secondary Zen to process. That's it. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching.